Okay. Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'm glad to be here too and be able to help everyone who's planning to study abroad. So for everyone who doesn't know me, I'm Tanya. I came to Canada as an international student in September 2019, and I did my course over here. I graduated, and currently I'm working full time at an advertising agency over here. So that's my story, how I came to Canada. And I'm all set to answer all of your Canada related questions. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Um, so studying abroad, so I after I graduated, I worked for a year in India and I always wanted to do a post graduation course or an MBA, anything. And I wanted to do it in advertising in specific. Now, India doesn't have so many advertising related courses. Now it still does, but during that point, there were like very few courses that really offered something advertising centric. And also, this thought of studying abroad was in my mind since childhood कि हाँ एक बार जाना है, पढ़ के आना है, because you've seen that right in TV, you've seen like people going, so you've always had that fascination of studying abroad. So my goal was never like to settle in a country. It was more like, okay, let's go, let's study, let's see how the experience is, and then decide how it goes. So, and my parents are actually pretty supportive. Like they were like, "Oh, you want to study abroad? That's really great," and they helped me out with it. In fact, so yeah, and then it was not a very well thought or well planned decision. It was just like jana hai, okay, and then there I am like attending study fairs and just like deciding which college to go. It happened very fast. Yeah, I'm here too. Yeah, thank you. Mhm. There should have been. Yeah. Mhm. Right. Mhm. Yes, so definitely a lot of things I didn't know about and बहुत जल्दी में चीजें की मैंने, which is why often in my videos also say that I didn't know about this, but you guys should definitely do your research. So a lot of things like I skipped, I missed one of my intakes because I didn't have my documents ready. I didn't have my IELTS exam given. So which is why like I tell everyone that when you decide to study abroad, give your English exam right away because that's going to be valid for 2 years. So, like, just get done with that one thing and then you can start your application process. Another thing with Canada is that since this country is probably the most in demand right now, so the intakes get filled up so fast that if you're planning for next September, you might have to like start applying right away. You're already late for the January intake, but for September you have to start applying right away. So this is one thing which I kind of missed my one of my intake, because I thought, oh like I have a lot of time, but I actually didn't. Another thing was like, when I came here, I had a lot of misconceptions. If had I done a little more research, I would know what the country exactly is like. So yeah, a lot of things like how staying over here would be, how expensive would it be, how do you get a part-time job, how your course is going to be. There are a lot of things to it. And also like a lot of things you come here and realize that, oh, okay, this is how it's going to be. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hello. Oh yeah. Sorry, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I think that probably happened because some configuration got mishandled by me. I'm really sorry, guys. People are watching us live. I think that was a small technical glitch. So yeah, coming back to the topic. So what I was saying was that like most of the people who have come to the channel have talked about the fact that they had a fairy tale painted for them, in their minds when they were applying abroad. And when you're applying to US or the UK or Canada, there is always so much to look forward to. Like even
Yeah.
the roads start seeming more pleasant and people are very
Yeah.
excited. But once they actually land in those respective countries, and once they actually start getting to know what is happening around them on a daily basis, they are very disappointed. So like, is there anything that you can probably add on to in terms of your experiences?
I completely agree. And one place that I would blame for this is social media. Because what we always see is the good picture, right? Like we see all of these beautiful roads and beautiful scenery, this independent life full of parties that people are living. And we are just like, oh, I want to be there. I want to study abroad. But when you actually come here, since the first day, like you realize that, okay, it's not going to be parties and it's not going to be all of that. It's going to be a lot of like cleaning, cooking, and just being by yourself, making decisions that you've never had made before. Like myself, I had never managed a bank account on my own. So something as small as that is what you realize over here, and you're like, oh, okay, this is adulting. This is what I have to do now. So from my first day itself, when I landed here, I had booked a house which I thought would be like a perfect house, and I would love staying over there. So as soon as I go there, I enter my room and I realize that there's no mattress in this room. Um, so and that day when I came, it was Labor Day. So I went to a Walmart, I went to a IKEA because I had to sleep somewhere. Like I didn't want to sleep on the floor. So I just wanted to quickly buy a mattress. And it was Labor Day. That day I realized that Canadians take their holidays very seriously and every place was shut. So no mattress in IKEA, no mattress in Best Buy, in Home Depot, Best Buy, nowhere, like nothing. So then I just picked, like, I just found a local shop which sold me like a very average quality mattress, but I needed it at that point. So I got it. But yeah, that's since then I started seeing what, like, it's going to be difficult. And then when I went to the kitchen, um, to like make myself some tea because I was exhausted, um, I switched on the light because it was evening and I saw like 10 cockroaches running out of the kitchen. And I was like, what? I thought like this was just an Indian thing. And so yeah, like the first day itself, I got to know about so many misconceptions that I didn't know about. So yeah.
Right, right, right. And I mean, I can only understand the kind of trauma that would have been key. I flew away thousands of miles to get rid of this, and the first thing that I
Yeah,
find in my own house is that. So
is
I'm
that,
really,
yeah.
really sorry for you,
So
Tanya, over there. But
yeah, I moved out in a month, and then after that, the other places have been much better. But you know that first experience, it actually makes an impact on you, and you won't forget that.
right, right, right.
So
So, Tanya, like, how is it? How exactly is the college life over here? Like, I'll come to the job part as well.
yeah.
But like, how
Yeah.
has college been for you? How were the people that were around you? Did you enjoy hanging out with them? And like, how exactly were your days like when you were a student in Canada? And you
So
are.
I was very lucky. I was very lucky that I had in-person classes, and my first half of college there was nothing called as COVID, luckily. So I got to live that whole experience. And college was great. I really liked it. I was in Humble Lakeshore campus, so I was personally in love with the campus. It was beautiful. It was like that university vibe that I always wanted, which I had not expected कि college में इतना मिलेगा, because they're supposed to be like small buildings usually, but this campus was great. It was huge. I met so many amazing people. Most of my friends right now are from my college. So my college experience was very nice. And even the learning part of it, the professors were nice. Hamburg is known to be a little strict. So yes, I do agree. Like there were times when I was studying a lot and I was like doing late nights for projects and stuff like that. But overall, the takeaway from that experience was great.
Right, right. I think that's common when it comes to higher education, that like one thing that you learn while doing it is the perseverance that is very essential in all corporate or in life endeavors, I think. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that was one takeaway for you. So we were streaming, like, I think a couple of months back with an Australian influencer, Tushar. I think if you know him, Tushar Bareja. So Tushar also told us about the kind of struggles that he had to endure in order to sustain a normal balanced lifestyle, because he was ordering in a lot. So was there a phase in your stay, in your time, wherein you just simply felt like I just don't want to cook for, let's say, 7 days straight, and you were just ordering in and exhausting your bank balance? Did that happen?
I've done that a lot of times actually, when I was like when there were too many projects going on in college, or even now like when there was just too much work. Another thing that I did was also I started a tiffin service for three or 4 months, when I was just like ordering straight like Indian home cooked tiffin. So that's also one option for international students. You have an option where you can get Indian food at home if you're like completely against cooking and you don't want to cook. Eventually, I feel like you have to, because you get bored of the like outside food and खुद के हाथ का खाना अच्छा लगता है. But yeah, that was also an option. So I've tried like each and every restaurant in my locality, and I've also tried like all home cooked meals and everything. So
Right,
yeah.
right, right. So like, what's the best thing that you can cook now?
Uh, I do cook really good Indian food. So like I can make all of the I make amazing tea. That's one thing I learned. So I cook good Indian food like paneer, chicken. I can make like dal chawal. So my go-to meal is always like, if I don't know anything, dal chawal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one common thing that every Indian mother is destined to pass on to their children.
Yes.
Because I like
Yes.
I vaguely remember that when I was like 17, that was the time that I decided to go to Mumbai for my higher education, for my undergrad, and I got enrolled in Jain College. And on my 18th
Oh, I was
birthday.
from Jaipur too.
Oh,
I was from
that's
Jaipur too.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
It's an all Jahant party then. So like, which course
Yeah.
did you do in Jahant? At Jahant?
I did BMM.
Oh, you did
BMM.
BMM. Great. I did
Yeah.
BMS, graduated this year
Okay.
only. So that's great, man.
Oh.
That's great. People, like one more senior of mine who is in Jahind, right? Who was in Jahind, is right now in Humber. So
Okay,
that's really
that's
nice. That's
cool.
really nice. Great, great. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the Jahind life started, and there were
Hmm.
lectures, and then you had to travel, and a lot of it was happening. So my mom made it a point to teach me how to cook dal chawal, so that even if there
Yeah.
are a lot of late nights, and there are a lot of projects that require my time and concentration, I can still resort back to a healthy meal.
Right.
So this
Yeah.
sounds really good that people do that abroad as well.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah, of
nice.
course. I feel like we do it more abroad because in India you still have the option to have a maid who can cook for you. It's pretty affordable to do that. Over here you don't have that option. So, and also like meals outside are pretty expensive. So you cannot rely to like always just eat out. You have to, every person that I know cooks, anyone, they have to cook over here. So you have to cook, and cooking is fine. I enjoy cooking. The worst part is when you have to clean up after that and do the dishes each and every day. So that's a part of it too.
You wouldn't believe, like, right before sitting for this stream, I was told to, clean. So I'm living in Bangalore right now, and I was told to clean the
Okay.
utensils because, of course, we had lunch like a while back,
Yeah.
and it's always a task. Like, I can
Yes.
do 10 streams back to back, but I really cannot. But then I have to.
Yeah. Same.
I think
Like
that
I
is
can never
the
get used to doing it.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So, like, I planned an entire thing when I will just talk to you about Canada. So, before we move forward with that, do you want to like probably tell us something about your job and how are you liking it? How is the work? And how are the
Yeah.
people that you are working with again? So, how is the entire
Mm.
experience for you?
So I am working at an advertising agency as a media buyer. And overall, the experience has been good. I have been working since quite a while now. So it's all been really nice. The people are great. One thing that I really like about Canada is that they respect their working hours a lot, and they really value their work life balance. So what happens is if I have a 9 to 5 job, I actually end up working 9 to 5. I don't work like till 10 p.m., which would have been the case in India if I would be working over there. So I really like the whole work culture over here where you're seriously working for the 9 to 5, the 8 to 9 hours that you have. But after that, there's nobody who's going to like be messaging you or telling you to get something done. So that's one thing which I really like about Canada, that you don't, and your weekends are to yourself. Not once have I been told to do anything on a weekend. So I really like that because in India, I worked for a year in India and it was terrible because also like being at an entry level, it was even more difficult because you have like a lot of people telling you to do stuff. So yeah, but it's much better over here.
Great, great, great. I mean, that's really nice. So, Tanya, do you think that the fact that you studied in Canada before you took up a job in Canada has helped you a lot in your endeavors?
Yes, I would say so because most of my contacts that I had were built during my studying. Because you get that extra time, right, where you can build contacts while you're studying. Another thing was that my course had a co-op. So I started working at this company as a co-op student, and then I got hired full time over here. So for me, studying played a huge role because if I didn't have the co-op, I might not have the job. So,
Okay, okay.
and also like having the college name helps a lot because every place that I went to and I said that I'm doing a course in Canada itself from Humber College, which is pretty reputed too, people would acknowledge it more than my India experience or more than my India degree because they don't know what that is. So I feel like that really helped me kind of stand out.
Great. I mean, that's really
Yeah,
promising stuff in terms of people, who are also looking to settle at the place that they are
yeah,
looking forward to study at. And I think that is a very common thing happening. People obviously come back as
yeah.
well, but there are people who stay back too. So
Mhm.
good. I mean, good news for the people who are actually watching us live and the people who will be watching
Yeah,
us later in terms when we will upload this. But that's
yeah.
great. That's really nice. All
No,
right.
definitely. And I
So
feel
yeah.
like I feel like even if you have to come back, it's still like a great experience which will help you get a job in your home country too. So I would definitely recommend it.
Right. Okay, so Tanya, like I've seen your, like I went through your YouTube channel and I like, there's some really great stuff that has been posted there. So, like, how did the journey with YouTube start? You went on to study and then, like, what was it that just ignited it?
So it was actually lockdown when I started making these Canada related videos. And I just had a lot of time to myself, and I always wanted to do something like this. And I was just like, okay, let's give it a shot. Let's see, because like I have time, and yeah, why not? And then I just created like one or two videos. So I used to make like travel vlogs before that, but since I couldn't travel, I was like, okay, this has to be an option. And I also really like storytelling and just like sharing my experiences. So I uploaded a few videos, and then people started liking it. I started getting a lot of good responses, and then I just never stopped. And here I am right now. So yeah.
That's actually really nice. Great, great, great. I think if people are able to find their artistic calling, I be it anything. I mean, you can be a writer, a singer, dancer, who you can be whoever you want to. But it's good that you actually found that inner calling and went on to work towards it. So that's really
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so how was the journey? I mean, like, the fact that you started small, and I'm thinking that you probably were not expecting that, this channel will take off like this, because you
Mhm.
started it
Yeah.
as something to kill your time. And the fact that now
Yeah.
you are actually growing on YouTube and people are looking forward to your content. So how does that make you
Mhm.
feel?
It's a great feeling because it has always been my dream, although really seeing it come true is something unexpected, because I didn't imagine that this would actually happen to me. And this, like, when I realized this is actually happening, was like I uploaded a video, and after a day of uploading, I was just like checking in to see how many views it got, and it was like 10,000 views. And I was just like, oh, okay, like my videos have barely crossed 1,000 views till now. And I have this video with 10,000 views. And then it just kept going and going and going. So then I was like, okay, this is really happening. And then, like, I started getting subscribers. I started getting messages from people saying that they saw my video. So yeah, and then like it has been a dream come true for me. And also I'm glad that so I get so many messages from people saying that I helped them out in their journey, and I cleared so many of their doubts. So it also feels so nice that I'm able to share my experiences and help people.
That's really, I mean, I think that was the reason why you started off with that, and the fact that you
Yeah.
see it coming true is what, I think after the
Yeah.
dust settles, that is what matters. So that's
Yeah.
really nice, and I mean, like, I would like to really commend you for the kind of work that you're doing, because the content is really informative. The people are actually getting entertained while learning something new. So, hats off to you for that. Nice. So, as you said that, you were like a travel vlogger before you started uploading all these education related videos. So, I had like some questions that I, want to ask you. Like, what are some of the destinations in and around Canada that you chose to, spend your time, like most of your
Mhm.
time at?
So unfortunately, I didn't get to explore as much as I wanted to, but still, I did get to see a few places. So in Canada, other than Ontario, my province, which I explored a little, I've like been to Niagara and all of that like several times now. That's like if you're from Mumbai, so you know like Niagara is Toronto's Lonavala. So I've been there several times, but one place that I visited, which I was so fond of and I want to go again, would be Montreal. So this summer we went to Quebec and just visited Quebec City, Montreal. So it was beautiful. And that's when I was like, oh, Canada has so much more to offer than just like the province where I am staying. So my goal is to like explore each and every province. Montreal was beautiful. I would love to go there again. And if anyone is in Canada, you need to visit that place. I also went to the States for the 2019 December before COVID. So I celebrated my first Christmas, which was supposed like away from home in the States. So that was also really fun. Yeah, and then after that, once like lockdown happened, the whole 1 year was kind of just like at home and not really traveling and just being safe. So yeah.
Right, right, right. I mean, thanks for the suggestions. I think So as you said that you realized that Canada had so much more to offer, which brings me to the next question. I mean, I think this one of the examples of those evergreen debates, like Apple versus iOS and Messi versus Ronaldo, that Canada and US are often staked at equal places, and then there is a decision that has to be made. So I am sure
Yeah.
that while you were exploring options, you must have thought about studying in US as well. So what was the one thing that stood out for Canada and that made you decide ki, you know what, Canada is my thing. So like what happened?
Two things actually. So one was the permanent residency option that you have here. Now you come abroad, you really like this place, you settle, like you get a job, you want to settle here. But what if you don't have an option to? Which is what I mean, it is possible to, yes, settle in the States, but it's much more difficult. The easy residency option that Canada offers was one main thing. And the second one was the fees. So US is exorbitantly expensive. And Canada, comparatively, I mean, obviously, if you do a master's in Canada, it would be expensive too, but in Canada, you have this option where you can do a postgraduate course, which will cost you around 18,000 to 19,000 Canadian dollars, which is 9 to 10 lakh Indian rupees. So that is much, much cheaper than what a US college or university would cost you. So that was also a main reason, because studying abroad is still a risk. You don't know if you're going to like it. You don't know if you would want to stay here. Maybe you would just want to go back home. So would you want to risk so much of money, or would you like risk half the amount and come to this country? So that was where I decided that I want to go to Canada.
Right, right, right. I mean, like you evaluated your options and then decided on a fair trade for yourself.
Yeah.
That's nice. I
Yeah.
think I think that is one thing that probably our audience can take back home as well. That I think when it comes to shortlisting universities, it is one of the most important and again a quintessential step in the process. So it's very advisable, and I think it's kind of wise to spend some time while evaluating your preferences and seeing what works out the best for you. So, I
Yeah.
think Tanya did that, and maybe we all can do it at different times when we are thinking about studying abroad. So, yeah, that's nice. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I do have some more questions about Canada only. So, like, all of your videos have, like, I think, um, if I trace it back to How I Met Your Mother, it's like your channel is a pretty that hut. What hut? Like, I don't remember what was it called, but that hut, that Canadian pub wherein Robin used to go to when she
Oh,
wanted to feel homely. So
mhm.
that is the vibe that I get from your channel. Like very very homely in terms of Canada. So like in terms of a country and in terms of the province that you are kind of in right now. So like how are people, like when you go out and you see random faces? I've heard this a lot that people in Canada are very polite. So how exactly is that feeling when you compare it to the normal things that we have in India?
That is so true. People over here are extremely nice, and they'll like, if they walk past you, they'll be like, "Good morning," or like, "How are you?" Every time you leave a coffee shop, most of the people would like always be like, "Have a good day" to the server. Um, and people are just extremely nice to each other, and it's so funny. So I recently went back to India for a vacation, and I was saying, like in India, it's always a fight between the pedestrian and the car, that who's going to go first. Like, is it the car or is it the pedestrian? And over here, it's always like the car is like, oh, you go ahead. And then the pedestrian is like, no, you go ahead. So it's always like Canadians are very patient, they're very polite. Even in queues, if you're in line somewhere, they're like very patiently waiting, they have no problems. They always social distance. So the people are very nice, they're very sweet. And Canadians are often known to always be saying sorry too. So anything they do, they're like sorry, they're sorry. So and also talking about like the ratio of people over here. So there are also a lot of Indians. So you will feel at home and you will meet a lot of Indian friends, Indian people, Indian communities. So for people thinking I'm going to be like around just Canadians, no, there are going to be a lot of immigrants over here. So that's a good thing because that helps me feel home. And I met so many like minded people just like me who are going through the same struggles. So that really helps.
Right, right. And like, how is it exactly on festivals? I mean, like when you're away, does this warmth kind of makes it easier for you to, pass that time, the festive vibe, which is probably happening in India?
I mean, you obviously feel homesick. It would never be the way that it was back home. But so my first Diwali, I remember like Humber hosted this huge Diwali party where like everyone was wearing Indian clothes. They had Indian snacks for all of us. We danced to Indian songs. So like they tried their best to make us feel home. And even after graduating, you have friends who are again Indians who are also away from home. So we usually get together and we do something together. So that makes you feel better, but it cannot replace the feeling that home has.
Right, 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 right. Of course. And like, like after studying in Canada and now that you're working in Canada, like what is the ultimate goal, Tanya? Like what do you aspire to be, or what do you basically want to achieve? Like what will be the point when you will feel like, okay, I am done. I'm happy now. So is there anything that you've planned for yourself?
Honestly, I'm taking things slow right now and still like kind of trying to figure out if I want to be in this country or if I want to go back home because it's always a constant debate where you want a slightly better lifestyle or you want to be with your family. So I'm still kind of trying to decide what I want. But again, my goal is my career. So I just want to excel in that and want to do really well. So that is like when I achieve that, that's when I'll be like, okay, this is good. So be it in India, be it in Canada, or be it in any other country, but my goal is to like reach that point in my career.
Definitely. And I think that makes the most sense also, knowing that you have already invested so much time and that you're enjoying your job right now. I think that is the only
Yeah.
right way to tread along. So that's okay. So, since we are actually, moving towards the end of the stream, I would urge the live audience to, probably start posting any questions that they have. But I like, while they are doing that and they are coming up with their questions, I had some questions that we accumulated from people, so this question was basically about the expenses that a student incurs except for the tuition fee. So Tanya, that like now that you have studied and now that you have already evaluated all these options before, do you like, and I think you mentioned it also on the stream that it is kind of comparatively cheaper, but is it still a hit, like to your to your savings and to your balances or stuff like that?
Yeah, it still is definitely. Because it's a lot more than just the college fees. So Canada has this compulsory GIC amount, which is around 5 lakh Indian rupees that you have to pay if you want to come in as a student. So that's it, basically safety funds that Canada government takes so that people say that हम आके part time job कर लेंगे, but not a lot of them actually do get part time jobs as soon as they come here. So this is it, basically just some funding that you get each month from that 5 lakh, which you can use for your daily expenses and your monthly spendings. So yeah, that's like a compulsory 5 lakh that you have to invest. So that along with the college fee. And then, so a lot of colleges have application fees as well. So if say you apply to like 4 to 5 colleges, each of them would have $100 application fee. Now this is before your admission. So that's again an expense. Your flight tickets are an expense. यहाँ पे आके आपके जो खर्चे होंगे like buying some furniture, buying grocery, like every month grocery is going to be $100. So I actually have a video explaining the whole monthly expenses in Toronto specifically. So you guys can check that out if you want all of the details. But every month at an approximate, if you want to stay in a city, you would be incurring around $1,000 to $1,100 for your expenses. So that would include rent, grocery, your phone bills, all of it. So yeah, it is pretty expensive, and which is why like people like to do a part-time job because they don't want to take so much money from home.
I mean, it sure looks like expensive, of course. But yeah, I mean, I think it's always better that people start planning their finances. And as Tanya rightly mentioned, different countries have different prerequisites, and it's very important that you know about them and that you fulfill them so that there are no last minute surprises when you're all packed and you simply cannot board the flight. So
Exactly.
I think that is a very vital advice as well. So there was this one more question that we got and we kind of were fascinated with it. It was about that I am a student in Canada, but since you have been a vlogger, are there any food places that you would want to recommend? And they can be in and around the province that you live, but yeah, like
Mhm.
Canada as a ballpark. So any cuisine
So I'll
recommendations as well if you have.
I'll tell you a few Canadian things that you must try. So one thing, Canada is like known for poutine. So poutine is basically French fries and gravy with cheese curds. It's really nice on a winter day. You have to try it. So anyone who's in Canada should try poutine. Or if you come to Canada, this is one thing that you must try because it's French fries. Like there's no way you're not gonna like it. So and if you're vegetarian, there are vegetarian options in it too. So that's one thing which I would recommend. Another thing which I would recommend a new person in Canada to try would be French vanilla from Tim Hortons. So Tim Hortons is Canada's the most famous coffee shop brand over here. You'd find it every 500 meters. So, and you got to try the French vanilla because it's just so unique and so different. You're going to really like it. So, other than that, Canada doesn't have a lot of Canadian specific cuisine. There are a few things, but these are my like top two recommendations that you must try in Canada.
Right, right, right. So, Tanya, as you know that, I think since the rise of OTT platforms has been phenomenal, and a lot of people are now actually consuming international content, in terms of videos and movies and TV series. So, I think there is a very common thing that has been, that I think that has came up that Americans look down at Canadians. Is that even remotely true, or is that just a fluff?
I mean, to be honest, what we see over here is that Canada and America has like a very good relation, a very friendly relation. The borders are so easy to like cross if you have all the documentation and everything. And to be honest, it seems really like a very friendly relation. And when I was crossing borders from Canada to the US, I didn't notice any difference. It kind of felt like you're in the same place because it's still the same geography. And so I don't think that happens. But I mean, I haven't experienced it personally, so I don't know.
Right, right, right. Great. So I think that was all that I had in my bag of questions and all the follow-up questions that we had. Tanya, so I think we'll wrap the stream up now. But before we do, anything that you want to share with the audience, future study abroad aspirants and people who are in Canada, people who are still thinking about going to Canada, any word of advice that you have?
Yeah, sure. So one thing I would say is I also mentioned before, start planning early. Don't think you have a lot of time because these courses get filled up really fast. So yeah, do that. And if you feel like you have a complicated situation, if you have gap years, if your course doesn't match your previous experience, then get some help because visa so I've been noticing that a lot of student visas are getting rejected recently, maybe because it's like so many people are applying right now. So just make your application very strong and get the necessary help if you think you have a complicated situation. When you come over here, focus on your studies. You're here to study. A lot of people get so engrossed in their part-time job and just like in that whole phase of earning money that they forget that they are here to study. So please focus on your studies because that is what is going to help you get a job in future, which is your main goal over here. Also, if you fail in any one of the subject, you have to pay like thousands or $2,000 just for the just to give that cover up exam. So you really don't want that, and especially if you're in reputed colleges, your course is going to be strict. So you need to first of all figure out if you need a strict college, or if you just like if this is your goal that you just want to chill out over here, then go to a college which is easier to like pass. So I can go on and on, but these are like some basic advices.
No, I'm really glad because I think it's all about the audience anyway, like the people who will be getting to this content later. So it's glad, I'm like, it's great, and I'm glad that they're getting so many good things out of you. But I'm again like, before I close it all, what I would want to mention is that Tanya has a great channel on YouTube, guys. And if you are actually planning for Canada, I think it's a given that you know her, and if you don't, then I think your chances are bleak. So do check her channel out on YouTube, and get to know some really crazy insights about Canada. And Tanya, on behalf of Yocket and everybody who was watching us live, I really thank you for waking up early again, taking time. Although I think you do that, but again, it really means a lot to us. And on the behalf of Team Yocket, like a really big thank you for you to tune in.
Thank you so much for having
And
me.
yeah, it's been a great experience for me as well, and I hope that people got something that they can take home. So
I
yeah.
so too.
All right. Thanks, Tanya, and thank you, everyone.